Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today we're going to be talking about Blood Death Knight and whether you should or shouldn't be playing it in 10.1. Before we do get into it though, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It goes such a long way towards helping out the channel. There is a Patreon link down below if you wish to support me directly. I've been writing tank club guides, and there's early access stuff for that. Early access videos. I know these series, I tend to record these in bulk, so they tend to go up there very quickly. So if you're looking for early access stuff, my Patreon is a great place to go there. If you're looking for any UI stuff as well, there is a different Patreon link down below towards a free document that you can get all of my UI stuff, weak auras, everything I use, everything I've made, because it is a random combination of everything. You can get that down below. There is a Discord link if you wish to watch, Discord link to watch me stream? No, Twitch link to watch me stream, Discord link to come hang around a wonderful community full of great people. All right, Blood Death Knight in 10.1. Now, Blood Death Knight does not seem to be getting a lot of changes. Their tree has pretty much remained the same throughout the entire 10.0 patch cycles, 10.0.5, 10.0.7. Nothing's really changed there, and I've always found that the tree can be a little rigid. You're really kind of locked into a few separate things that you have to kind of take, and trying to be flexible in that can be very, very difficult. But a lot of those things that you take are incredibly powerful. It's really actually insane how much Death Knight healing is occurring right now, right? It's not uncommon for me in a plus 20 in packs to have 150, 170, 160, like 180k HPS healing on that pack, and that's not just peak, but kind of end somewhere around there. And that is what the strength of Blood Death Knight is you are the healer now. Like, you take damage and you heal yourself back up, but that can also be incredibly punishing in higher end content, where if you mess up a global, or you're not quite, you just didn't quite pool your resources properly, you can just die. Like, it does happen. The first time I went into a 21 Ruby Life Pools, I realized that I hadn't done a fortified Ruby Life Pools plus past the 16 before jumping into a 21. And mentally, I wasn't ready for that, like how it went in, and I kind of got that shock where I'm like, okay, I need to play right. Like, I know I'm screwing around right now. I need to play right. And that is something that is going to happen with Blood the more higher end content that you're going, but you are pretty much immortal if you are on your game, you pool your resources properly, and you you don't screw up. But that's why there's Purgatory. Cheat death, 4 minutes. Their damage is still a little low in comparison to the other tanks, but it's not that far off. And Blood Death Knights that know how to play around their cooldowns can really compete with some good tank damage. So you are immortal, you have decent damage, but you are very selfish. Everything is, you ignore mechanics. You don't help people ignore mechanics. You heal yourself back up. You don't heal other people up. But really, like, if you need to solo down a boss because your pugs can't do it, Blood Death Knight can pretty much just do any boss. And it's actually crazy how how ungodly survival they are. In 10.1, they are getting an interesting tier. So right now the tier set for Blood is meh in Raid, good for M+. It's a haste and damage bonus that's kind of based around bone shield charges. In 10.1, is going to give you a increased damage to Blood Boil and Heart Strike, which is very, very welcome. That's going to be big help in AoE, but also, it's going to be good single target, because those are two of the things that we use the most in our rotation, is Heart Strike and Blood Boil, as well as, Death Strike. Those are kind of the three main core buttons. There are many more, but let's leave it at that for now. So that is going to be very, very nice, but when you do use your Blood Boil or your Heart Strike, you have a 10% chance to proc Vampiric Blood on yourself. So Vampiric Blood is one of your main cooldowns. It's just reduced to a very low cooldown with Red Thirst, and you're going to gain Vampiric Blood and Vampiric Strength. So while you have Vampiric Blood up, and you can plan this around your own usage of your own ability and not just the random proc, but Vampiric Blood gives you 10% increased damage. Increased strength, I'm sorry. Yeah. And you can extend that by use of Heartstrike and Blood Boil with the tier set. And honestly, I kind of really like that. It's a lot of fun. It's going to help newer players get into Blood DK because it is one of the more difficult specs to get into and play properly. And this is just going to provide more healing. It is random and RNG, but anytime you press Death Strike and you get more healing is a good thing. And higher end players are going to be able to know when Vamp Blood is coming, or when they get that proc, they track it, and really play around it, and really kind of work around how aggressive they play and their cooldowns. So this helps lower the floor and helps elevate the ceiling, which I think is really, really good for a tank tier set, right? If you're looking at something that's going to kind of elevate the spec in the eyes of everyone, that's really what you want. Something to lower the ceiling. Elevate the ceiling and lower the floor. But yeah, so that is actually really, really good. There's some interesting items from the raid, trinkets and things like that as well, because we're getting a whole new slew of stuff coming from Mythic Plus, and of course coming from raid. So Blood Death Knight is still in a very, very strong place, but does require a strong mastery of the class to know how to play properly. But when you do get into it and you're in that rhythm, you are immortal, and you just see your health go back and forth. I have not healed a Blood Death Knight in like a very high key, so I haven't experienced that heart attack yet, but I can only imagine what healers are going through when they're trying to heal me in a plus 20 when I'm double, triple pulling and just pulling like 200k HPS. Like, it's gotta be crazy, but it is so much fun. But if you're, if that's the kind of tank that you were into, Blood Death Knight is got an incredible amount of strengths. Anti-magic shell, anti-mechanic shell, Icebound Fortitude, all very, very good for just negating mechanics altogether, which is a strength of Blood Death Knight when you learn how to play it right. But it's up to you. Are you going to be playing Blood Death Knight in 10.1? Are you not? Let me know down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I am going to be putting out guides for 10.1. These are just quick little, like, hey, I'm thinking about alting this. I'm thinking about maining this. That's kind of what this series is about. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Have yourselves a good one. Happy tanking. Bye.